I've received some form of how do you afford that my entire adult life? How do you travel so much? How do you have so much free time? What do you even do for work? How can you just pick up and move? I've gotten asked all of it over the past 6 years, and I've never sat down to talk about it, so that's what I wanted to do today. I want to dive into everything from my career journey, how I got into it, my money mindset, how my income works, and I want to give you some tips on how I did this. I'm not doing this because I want to talk about myself. I'm doing this because this is the type of thing that I would have killed to hear 6 years ago when I was starting everything and feeling completely lost and alone, but knowing I did not want to work my life away. My outlook on life is I'm very ambitious. I have a lot of goals, but none of that is career centered. I don't really care about what job I'm doing. I have passions and things that I love, and it would be incredible if I could make a living off of that. But what really matters to me is that I have a job that allows me to live the life that I want to live. I have big goals, but that all revolves around my life. I don't really have a goal of getting a promotion. I don't care about that. I just want to make sure I don't hate the job that I'm working. What I'm trying to say is I work to live. I do not live to work. As you watch this video, I want you to start thinking to yourself, what really matters to you in life? What are your goals? What type of lifestyle do you want to live? And that will help you take in this information a bit more and do something with it. So let's go back to the beginning. I was a 4.0 AP class taking, already had college credits high school student. So naturally, college was the next step for me because learning was fun and easy, and obviously when you do well in school, that's the next step, right? I applied to a lot of schools and I got accepted to a lot of them, and I even got scholarships. I ended up committing to Westchester University for finance. Did I want to do this? Not a chance in hell. But I knew finance could make good money, and I also knew I was good at it. The summer after I graduated high school, about 2 months before I was supposed to go to college, I had an epiphany. That was, I don't want to do this at all. So, very scarily, I withdrew my commitment, and I was petrified because now what? I withdrew my commitment under the guise of I'm just taking a gap year to figure out what I want to do. During this gap year, I had a lot of free time. I was nannying, and I just wanted to start to experiment. I started a podcast. I found out that you can be a travel agent, so I became an independent travel agent, thinking that this is the start of my entrepreneurial journey. And then COVID hit a month later. There goes the travel plans out the window. Really, I just wanted to see what I liked. I knew nothing outside of the fact that I'm smart. I'm good at a lot of things, but what the hell do I actually like? What do I enjoy? Just because I'm good at it doesn't mean I like it. I learned so much about myself, and none of the things that I learned steered me in the direction of college or finance. So that gap year turned into 2 gap years. Summer of 2020, a video popped up on my TikTok For You page about being a virtual assistant. And if you're wondering what the hell is that, so was I. So I did some digging. I went into a rabbit hole, and I really started to learn about the world of being an online business owner. This was the first I had ever even considered entrepreneurship. I was the first person in my family to graduate high school, let alone pursue starting my own business, so I was very much in over my head. I kept digging and learning more and discovered that there are so many people who make a living just doing things online. There's online coaching, there's a ton of different service provider roles, Pinterest management, online business management, video editing, social media management, virtual assisting, which is essentially just being someone's assistant online. I had some skills in my pocket from being bored in high school and high school electives, and I also had a really strong desire to make something of my life, so I started learning. You do not have to know what you're doing to pursue something. There is so much value in just throwing yourself in the deep end and learning. And even if it's not something you end up enjoying or end up liking or end up being good at, that's okay. You learned that. Knowing that I don't like this and I'm also not good at it is pushing you in the direction of what you do like and what you are good at. Anything you learn about yourself is valuable. So the person who posted the original video that I saw was actually a virtual assistant coach. So she started as a virtual assistant and then did really well, so she started teaching other people how to do the same thing. I signed up for her masterclass. Long story short, I was like, yes, I want to absolutely try this. I started a business Instagram account and essentially just started posting things that would be helpful for the people I wanted to work with. Who did I want to work with? Absolutely no idea, but let's try anyone. I showed up with an uncanny amount of blind confidence here. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, why should somebody else? I started posting like I was a pro. Like I already knew everything. I knew what your problem was and I know how to solve it as well. Did I? No. Would I let you know that? Also no. Would I end up working with you and solve the problem that I didn't know how to solve, but now I do? Absolutely. That's the part. You have to be crafty. You just have to want it. and you have to make it work. So through posting on Instagram and posting a hell of a lot in Facebook groups about entrepreneurship and just putting myself out there, I ended up landing some discovery calls with people who needed a virtual assistant, photographers, fitness coaches, online business coaches, literally like a psychic. Anyone. I didn't care. I just wanted to learn and I wanted to try. And I got on these calls and I heard what they wanted and what they needed. And I said, yes, I can absolutely do that. And if I don't know how to do it, I'll learn. And I did that. So I started working with people, doing things I had no idea how to do, and doing things that I did know how to do. Either way, I was learning and I was getting better. Everything under the sun, and I mean it. Social media management, podcast editing, client management, building their websites, a lot of creative stuff. And that's what I started to learn is I definitely preferred the creative side of things, editing, design, all of that fun content stuff over the like admin work, but I still did it because I was good at it. I started out charging hourly. I charged $25 an hour. And then eventually I started to realize, okay, I only have a certain amount of hours in a day. So if I'm doing 5-hour packages per week for people, I have a cap on how many people I can work with, and therefore I have a cap on how much money I can make. So I switched to package-based projects instead of, okay, I'll do 5 hours a week for you or 10 hours a week for you for this amount of money. It instead turned into, I'll edit 4 videos a month for you for this amount of money. This was also nice because by then I knew what I really liked, which was that creative side of things, so I could build packages surrounding that. This went on for quite a while, and I started to actually make something of myself. This allowed me to live a life I never thought I would be able to live, but I always knew I wanted. I was meeting cool people, I was traveling, I was able to move states several times, Boston, Florida, North Carolina, traveled Europe, traveled Mexico, all while still being able to work, and that was really important to me. I learned so much through trying so many different things, not just about my skills, but how to be a professional, how to network, what I liked, what I valued. I learned I like to be able to work when I'm feeling up to it. I know myself, I'm gonna get shit done. I do not procrastinate, but I also don't want to have to get up and work 9 to 5 every single day. Sometimes I want to get up and do my work at 5 a.m. And I like that I'm able to do that. I learned that sure, I could probably get a 9 to 5 stable job in person that provided me a lot more money, but what if I want to pick up and go to Europe for a month and a half? I don't know if I have that much PTO. Spoiler alert, I did want to do that. What if I want to pick up and move states 4 or 5 times? I did want to do that. Having an in-person job would not have allowed me to do that. I pivoted my business a lot. I went from being a virtual assistant to pivoting to online business management to then realizing I really just wanted to do podcasts and video editing to kind of hitting a wall. It sounds great. You get to make your own schedule. You get to choose who you work with and what you do. You get to set your own rates. You get to travel whenever you want. But it's not all rainbows and sunshines, and being an entrepreneur does take a special type of person. Again, I had no guidance going into this, and I had to learn a lot of things the hard way, and one of those things was self-employed taxes. Tax season of 2024, I hit a brick wall at a high speed. I was working with an accountant and I kind of got screwed over, and I was told, hey, you owe $12,000. Even though I had been paying quarterly taxes, how the hell does that make sense? It didn't. But I was kind of just over it. I hadn't had health insurance, I'd been paying my own taxes, and if I'm being honest, I wasn't as good with my money as I could have been. I definitely have regrets about that to an extent. I'm not mad that I traveled a lot. I'm not mad that I moved around a lot. I would spend my money on that time and time again. I am mad that I was so young and didn't understand the concept of setting my future self up for success and really saving money. I wasn't an overspender, but I was doing a little bit more than I needed to. Needless to say, I was kind of burnt out and I just needed a break. And I was at a point where I was like, I can't keep doing this. I need a break. I need to learn something. I feel like what I'm doing is kind of pointless. There's so much going on in the world and I'm just editing people's videos. Like, what am I doing? I need health insurance. Like, I'm sick of doing taxes. I need a break. So I signed up for EMT school. So many people told me I was insane for this. Like, outside looking in, it looks perfect. Why would you want to drop that and go sign up for EMT school? I just needed a break, and that's okay. If you learn anything from this, you get to do whatever the hell you want to do with your life. Other people do not understand you. They don't understand your motives. They don't understand your situation. All that matters is that you're enjoying it. Life is meant to be enjoyed by you. Make sure you're enjoying it. I am so glad that I went to EMT school. I went into this thinking I'm probably not going to be an EMT, but I really just miss learning and I want to do something different. I learned so much about myself. You might be seeing a theme here. Everything I'm saying is do something to learn about yourself. That is the whole point of life, learning about yourself and growing from it. I met so many incredible people. I made friends that I will have for the rest of my life. I realized how much I love learning and being a student. I met my boyfriend. I learned what hard work truly meant. I thought I was a hard worker before, but that really changes when you're on hour 18 of 16-hour shift on an ambulance. I realized I really valued being able to make my own schedule and the freedom to go wherever I want, whenever I want, and not worrying about taking days off or being back for shift. I also learned I really love learning and being a student and pushing myself to do hard things. In 2025, I moved again, and I decided to pick my business back up because what the hell else was I gonna do? This time I approached it a little bit differently. I decided to niche down. So before I was just doing work for anybody, this time I decided I wanted to do marketing for photographers specifically. It took off. It did really, really, really well. I was marketing myself on TikTok and Instagram with predominantly focusing on TikTok. It was just doing really well for me. I made a lot of educational videos for photographers and they resonated with it. I did strategy calls for them. I did done for you marketing. I did some courses and I loved it. And then one day someone commented on one of my business TikToks mentioning that they work with YouTubers and I should apply for a job. The crazy thing is this video wasn't about photographers. If you're wondering why would someone comment on an educational video for photographers about YouTubers, well, this was a video I posted randomly on TikTok just because I wanted to talk about it. I obviously create content myself and I dabbled in influencer marketing. And one thing about me, if you can't tell, I love to talk. So I post a lot of videos just rambling. This was one of them and someone commented. And I applied for the job, and a few rounds of interviews later, I got the job. That's what I do now. It's a company called Gigastar. Long story short, I am a creator partnerships manager. My job is essentially to get YouTubers to sign up for what I do, which is like a financing opportunity for them. It's pretty cool. It's like the stock market of the creator world, but we'll move on. I'm not going to bore you with the details of my actual job. For a while, I kept the business going, but it just got to be too much. I had no free time, and it was a difficult decision for me because I loved what I did in the business and I was struggling with the balance of enjoying it, but realizing I started this business so I could live a life that I enjoy. But now I have a full-time job that allows me to live the life that I enjoy. It gives me stability. It gives me freedom. It gives me health insurance. It takes my taxes out for me. So I don't need this right now. So I stepped back again. The best part, honestly, is I never got bored. I did so much and I loved all of it because everything was fresh and exciting. I get bored very easily, so I need to do a lot of things, which is why I still have some clients from my business and I still do video editing for some other YouTubers. One of the biggest things that I learned is networking is so important. So many opportunities that you will get are through people that you connect with. Put yourself out there, please. DM people on Instagram, make genuine friendships and connections with people, go to networking events, talk to random people at a restaurant, at the bar, whatever it is, have conversations with people, make connections. It will take you to places you never knew. If I didn't have that one friend who recommended me getting into influencer marketing, I never would have been a talent manager. I never would have learned the things that I know about the creator world, which means I never would have posted that TikTok rambling about what I know about the creator world, which means the person that I work with would have never commented on that video saying, hey, I have a job open. So where would I be now without that? It's all in your connections. It's all in how much you believe in yourself and how much you put yourself out there. Now that you know what I did and what I do, in terms of money, I really value experiences over things. Don't get me wrong, I love a thing, but I definitely prefer to prioritize spending money on experiences. I have turned myself into a pretty big saver, such as if something's in my Amazon cart, it has to live there for at least 24 hours before I can buy it, because I have made some ridiculous impulsive decisions on Amazon. The first thing I do with my money when it hits my bank account is I put it into a high yield savings account, and then I put it into my Roth IRA. For me, it's very important to balance living now and setting my future self up for success. So I make sure I budget accordingly. I put money into my retirement fund, I put money into an emergency savings account, and then I let myself save or spend accordingly. So right now, my boyfriend and I are saving to go on a cross-country road trip at the end of August. Is that going to be cheap? Hell no. But I don't want to wait until the end of my life to live. We are not guaranteed time on this earth, so if there's something you want to do, do it. And if your job isn't allowing you to do that, then reflect. If you take anything away from this video, which I know I've said that a lot, but please know you are so much more capable than you think you are. There are endless amounts of opportunity out there. If you want to work online, I promise you it's possible. Having an actual remote job that you are like, you have an employer is very nice because will I say it's stable? Is anything stable? You have health insurance and you have a paycheck that gets taxes taken out, which is very nice. But at the same time, being self-employed is great as well. The downsides there, again, you have to take out your taxes. You are the only person there to hold you accountable to make sure you get your shit done. And you're also responsible for finding your own clients. That was one thing that stressed me out sometimes. Is like, okay, this person isn't working with me anymore. I need to find a new video editing client. But really, at the end of the day, it's not that tough. You can do anything if you want it bad enough. So what do you want? How are you going to get there? Ask yourself that. When it comes to saving, I've learned that it's all about dopamine. You love that feeling of buying something and having it coming in the mail to you and realizing like there's something to look forward to. I think that's a lot of it some of the time, because think about some of the things you've ordered that you were so excited about. Are you still excited about that item? Probably not, which is why I like to make myself wait to order things. But I've also learned that dopamine rush you get from buying something, I also get it when I put money into my savings account. It sounds stupid, but I promise you, when you set little goals for yourself of maybe paying off your car payment, every time you get closer to that goal, it feels good. When you see it go down by $300, you're like, whoa, that's fun. It's a dopamine rush. When you put money into your savings account and you see it grow, that feels good. When you put money into a savings account that's for something, for example, my road trip, that's exciting. Finding a way to get a dopamine hit outside of spending is very important, and it's also hard. I don't have a super strict budget that I stick to, but I am very adamant on checking my bank accounts, making sure I put money into savings and investing first, and then spend accordingly. But also know that you don't have to spend every single thing you have. Just because the money is in your account doesn't mean it needs to leave it. My camera died, so we're finishing this on my phone. But if I had to give my younger self advice when I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something with my life other than sitting in a cubicle for 8 hours a day, it would be this. Let yourself change your mind. Try so many things, make a lot of mistakes, and be okay with that. Learn from it. Learn how to accept your mistakes and do something with it. Stop being so down on yourself. People won't hate you when you make mistakes. You only learn from experiences. You only learn from making mistakes and trying new things. And it is okay if you try something and don't like it. Let yourself change your mind 1,000,000 times. Trust me, I have. I've tried a lot of different jobs. I've tried a lot of different clients. I've tried living in a lot of different places. I've learned from all of it. The safe decision isn't always the right one. So sure, you might have a job that pays all right, but you don't have a schedule you love, but you get health insurance, but you don't really like your coworkers and you're kind of miserable the whole time while you're there, but you have a retirement fund, but it's not what you want. It's safe, but you're not living the life that you want. Is that the right decision for you? Figure out what really matters to you. What do you really value? Is it free time or is it stability? Figure out a way to make things work for you. So I'm not the type of Your mouth looks insane. I'm not the type of person that wants to sit down and make out a spreadsheet budget and follow it. I know what is worth spending my money on. I have systems that work for me to make sure I'm setting myself up for success, and I'm not following generic advice. Just because it worked for someone doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Figure out what works for you. Learn about yourself. Learn how you work best. Learn how you function and build your life around that. And believe in yourself. You are more capable than you think you are, and if you want other people to believe in you, you have to believe in yourself. Fake it till you make it. I know this wasn't like a step-by-step guide on how to get a remote job. If you have specific questions, let me know. But the moral of the story is you can make anything happen that you want to make happen. I believe in you, so I really hope you start believing in yourselves. Again, if you have specific questions on remote jobs, entrepreneurships, money, whatever it is, comment down below. I'm not a professional, but I've learned a lot, and I'm more than happy to share that with you guys.